Lately, I've been talking a lot about misconceptions around asexuality, especially because there's a lot of rhetoric going around about it. But something that someone said to me in the comments really struck me. They pointed out that it's not just aces. Allosexual, aromantic folks deal with a lot of dangerous misconceptions too. And they're absolutely right. Allosexual aros, people who experience sexual attraction but little to no romantic attraction, often get hit with some very toxic assumptions. And honestly, these misconceptions don't just hurt feelings, they can lead to shame, isolation, and real, potentially even physical harm. So let's talk about it and about how we can all do better to support them.
And on this journey, one more love unraveled. I finally learned to love me for me.
Let's start out with some basics. Allosexual means someone who does experience sexual attraction. Specifically, we're talking in the ways that society considers the norm. Now, aromantic means someone who experiences little to no romantic attraction, or they experience it rarely, or in ways that don't follow those attraction norms. So when you take allosexual and aromantic and you put them together, you've got a person who experiences sexual attraction, but doesn't form romantic attraction to others the way that most people do, or sometimes not at all. And a lot of the world really doesn't seem to know what to do with that. So let's break down some of the more harmful assumptions that people make about allosexual aromantic folks. For one, they'll say things like, "You're just afraid of commitment." This is probably one of the most common ones. People assume if you're not looking for a romantic relationship, you must be emotionally immature or avoiding responsibility. But aromanticism isn't about fear. It's about how someone experiences attraction. If anything, recognizing that part of you and learning about it, and especially discussing it with others, that's tough to do. And it takes a ton of courage. See, being aro doesn't mean someone's closed off or afraid. It means they connect differently. And that's valid. Another one that aro folks get is, "You just want to sleep around." This one turns up in really gross and dangerous ways. Allosexual aros get painted as predatory or hypersexual just because they don't tie their sexual attraction to romance. But here's the thing. Consensual, ethical sex is not a bad thing. And being upfront about not wanting romance isn't manipulation. It's respectful communication. Another misconception that turns up is, "You're just using people." This one hits hard. People act like unless a relationship is romantic, then it must be shallow or selfish. But wanting physical or emotional closeness without romance isn't using anyone. What matters is honesty and consent. If everyone knows what they're agreeing to and they feel safe and respected, that's what matters most. They might also hear, "You're cold or heartless." Now, this stereotype is everywhere, that aros are unfeeling robots or incapable of love. Especially if someone doesn't desire romance and expresses sexual attraction, it can really throw people. But aromantic people have full emotional lives. Many feel deep love for friends, for family, for community, and for themselves. Not wanting romance doesn't mean you lack depth or care. It just means you don't express intimacy the way that most people expect it romantically. And let's not forget that aromanticism is a spectrum. Whether you're in a romantic relationship, or you want one day, or you have zero interest in that kind of connection at all, your aromantic identity is still valid. Being aromantic doesn't make you cold or heartless. Some aros choose romance, some avoid it, and some are still figuring it out. And all of that is perfectly fine. What matters most is that your relationships, romantic, platonic, sexual, or otherwise, are built on honesty, respect, and mutual care. And that love is just as real and just as worthy. And one last one, you just aren't mature enough yet. Now, this one pops up for both asexual and for aromantic folks in very different ways. For aces, it's that you're too innocent for sex still and haven't matured enough for that. And for aromantic folks, there's this narrative that the commitment often associated with romance is this ultimate sign of adulthood, that once you grow up, you'll want that commitment, that you'll settle down one day. But growing up isn't about following someone else's life script. It's about knowing yourself. It's about setting boundaries. It's about respecting others and choosing relationships that are meaningful to you. That takes way more emotional intelligence than just following some norm that society came up with. These misconceptions don't just cause awkward conversations. They cause real damage. Allosexual aros often feel alienated, not just from society in general, but even within queer spaces. They're seen as too sexual for some ace spaces, too unromantic for the broader lgbtqia plus ones. That double invisibility, it's exhausting. It can lead to people hiding who they really are, forcing themselves into romantic dynamics that they don't feel, or staying silent, even in spaces that are supposed to be affirming for them. And when you're constantly told that you're either too cold, deviant, or immature, it's easy to internalize that. That's where a lot of the real damage can come from. Not from being aromantic and allosexual, but from being made to feel like it's not okay to be. On top of that, a lot of this misconception is very harmful rhetoric, and misconceptions can lead to misinformation, which can lead to beliefs that are inaccurate and harmful. It can lead to a lot of allosexual aromantic folks getting hurt physically. These stigmas are born out of something, whether it's miscommunication, misinformation. Often it becomes belief, and that's very dangerous. It's, in my opinion, a big reason why we are in the shape we are in the world right now, is because misinformation was taken as fact, and lies were spread, and stigmas were created around certain people. And we cannot allow this to happen. We need to be clear about what people experience and understand and listen to the people who have those experiences. When you brand somebody as dangerous, just like what I talked about in my last video when I was talking about the guest on the Trevor Noah podcast who substituted the word asexual in for incel and was talking about asexual males being the most dangerous group in the world when he actually meant incels. This is where this kind of stuff comes from. It's what we need to prevent. We need the right information. We need to listen to the sources. So what can we do to help? For one, we need to normalize non-romantic sexual attraction with respect and consent at the center of it. This is huge. Just because someone doesn't feel romantic attraction doesn't mean that they're reckless or disrespectful. In fact, many allosexual aros are very intentional about how they navigate sex. Healthy sexual relationships don't require romance. What they do require is open communication, clear boundaries, and mutual respect. That's what consent really looks like. People being honest about their wants and limits and treating each other with dignity, no matter what the relationship is labeled as. Secondly, we need to value autonomy. Let people define what relationships mean to them. Whether that's a queer platonic partnership, a friendship with benefits, a community-centered sort of bond, or something else. We shouldn't rank one kind of relationship over another. I've said this a million times. I even wrote one of my poems about it. Ranking relationships helps no one. Thirdly, we need more representation of allosexual, aromantic folks. Media often, in fact, almost never, shows characters who want sex without romance in a healthy sort of way. If they do, the characters are framed as villains or manipulators or as jokes. Just imagine how powerful it would be to see an allosexual, aromantic character who's sexually active and respectful. Someone who lives their truth without apology and without shame. And fourthly, we need to listen and make space. If you're in a space that includes aros, especially if it's ace adjacent, ask, are allosexual aros feeling heard? See, allyship doesn't mean assuming everyone shares your experience. It means holding space for those who don't. We need to challenge the idea that romance is the only real connection, or that sexual attraction without romance is somehow less moral or meaningful. Because when we uplift consent, communication, and autonomy, that's when everyone has the space to be fully themselves. If you're an allosexual, aromantic person, I want to say this directly to you. You are not broken. You are not selfish. You are not a stereotype. You are valid. You are deserving of respect and love. And you don't have to fit someone else's script to be worthy of care and community. Let's drop some appreciation for our allosexual, aromantic friends in the comments below. Show allo aros that they're seen, that their concerns are heard, and that our support goes deeper than just lip service. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it around, and subscribe for more content. You can also help support my work by checking out the merch shop on my channel page and the featured items below this video, or by grabbing a copy of my book, Limitless, Poetry of an Aromantic and Asexual Journey. Links for that are in the description below. Let's keep learning from each other and keep building spaces where all aros, romantic or not, sexual or not, feel seen. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.